Hello, everyone. I'm Henri Boilly from the Department of French Studies. I teach the Rwanda course, as we call it, and this course has been running since 2009. I just want to thank all the wonderful students and the esteemed colleagues and also our amazing friends from Rwanda for their wonderful contribution with testimonials about their experience with this course. Thank you for joining us, and here are some testimonial excerpts throughout the years.
The best thing that I learned through my experience in the Rwanda program was getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Being thrown into different environments, different contexts around new people with different languages really encouraged me to get comfortable being outside my comfort zone. And that is something that has continued to reap benefits throughout my entire life since the program.
My most impactful experiences were everyday interactions with people who had experienced one of the most inhumane and horrible events in human history. Leading teams, embracing diversity, showing empathy, and bringing out the best in those around me have been critical to my success.
My favorite memories from my time in country were the meals that we shared with our local hosts and local connections that we made throughout our time there. Those meals, those opportunities, experiences were truly a way to get to know Rwandan culture quickly, which is a very warm and inviting culture and calming and happy.
In regard to our leader, Professor Boyi, so he has got to be the most gentle, kind, and patient person that I know. Just as an example, he was the only one who spoke the language there. So anytime that one of our group needed to communicate with someone, he had to be the interpreter, being our go-to person the entire time.
What I learned was to never stop learning. Everyone you meet and every situation you come across is an opportunity to learn more about different cultures, about ourselves, about how things work, about the world we live in, and so on.
Rwanda is one of those magical countries. I feel that when you go there, you instantly fall in love with it, and it becomes part of you for the rest of your life. People from the Gasimba orphanage that I met as kids who are now adults, and I've kept in touch with them since then. And it's amazing to have these connections with people that are so far away and have such a different way of life, but there's something that connects you.
My love of traveling was sparked at an early age, but it wasn't until I went to Rwanda that I truly learned how to move from tourist to service learner and how to put a proper emphasis on intercultural competency. I value the service learning framework that we learned before we even arrived in Rwanda because it led to a much more rich and valuable experience. These cross-cultural experiences taught me to reach across the divides that separate people and has given me the skills necessary to meet new people and embrace new experiences that I never would have before.
Taking part in the Rwanda course, I believe, has had a very significant impact on my life. I was just wrapping up my studies at Western and fresh off of this experience in Rwanda, and it so motivated me to maintain a connection with meaningful work in the field of social justice and the human experience. One of the most striking lessons I learned was the value of cross-cultural learning and equitable exchange. As much as I was able to give to this experience, I took so much more from it.
My experience in Rwanda shapes the way I help teams build inclusive web apps. It taught me that empathy should always come with dignity. It taught me to challenge my own assumptions before acting on them, and it taught me to communicate with people in creative and resourceful ways when language or ability becomes a barrier. I'm grateful to Professor Boyi for taking me on the trip of a lifetime.
I was super lucky to participate summers in a row in Kigali, and both experiences were amazing and definitely have shaped who I was back in my early 20s and still have impact on who I am today. If I look back at why I went to law school or why I'm a lawyer today, the pivotal moment where I really decided that I wanted to continue studying after my undergrad, and that I realized I had a keen interest in international development and international criminal law, was during my time in Rwanda. I am jealous of anyone going to Rwanda in the next few years, or who will participate in this class, because it truly is something special.
Rwanda is a trip that I talk about all the time. Talk about it in my personal life, talk about it at work. The experience was truly life-changing. I was lucky enough to travel a bit before Rwanda, but nothing was like this experience that was so intimate and special with the people that we met there. We got to spend quality time with the teachers, with the students, with the kids, and it was just, I just feel so lucky to have had this experience and learned so much. You know, you can read, know facts, but nothing's quite like actually experiencing it and touching it, for lack of a better word, with your own hand. I am so grateful to have gone. I would love to go back one day. I hope to go back one day, but for now I have the appreciation and the gratitude and the wonderful memories and relationships and connections that I was able to form while I was there.
I think to this date, my experience in Rwanda is the most impactful learning experience that I've had, and is something that I carry through in everything I do. And it's a very big part of my story, and my story which has led me from studying nutrition at Western University to going to Rwanda, to then understanding that I wanted to have a global career and global impact, and then later going to work in India, Nicaragua, and deciding to study international business in order to pursue a very international career where I could have the impact that I was seeking and that I was so motivated to have. The single word that I think synthesizes my experience in Rwanda, and what I always highlight in job interviews, but also interviews for my master's program, is my biggest learning, which was Ubuntu. And even though it's just a word, I think it's the core and the essence of everything that I learned in Rwanda. And it means I am what I am because of you.
My experience was transformative, to say the least. Just learning from Ari and getting to spend time with the team both in 2014 and 2015 taught me so much about myself and so much about experiential learning. When Ari asked me to be the teacher's assistant in 2015, he told me, I think, something along the lines of that he thought I was a quiet leader. And I think that was the first time someone had described me as a leader and not just quiet. And that was in itself something that really affected my life moving forward. It taught me to speak up and to think of myself as a leader. And I think that's really the magic of the course, is that no matter where you are at the beginning, Ari will find something in you that you maybe didn't see in yourself.
Experience with the course taught me many things, but one of the most valuable was certainly a sense of perspective and understanding how individuals work within these broader contexts of history and politics and social change. And I really learned this in relation not only to myself as an individual, but also with the children who I had the privilege of meeting and the local social workers who worked at Caritas full-time. Now, this understanding was very much supported by the overall structure of the course, where we got to learn about Rwanda in the classroom before experiencing it. And it was so valuable to have this background information to better understand this place that we are stepping into, as well as the significance of the things that we saw, and the responsibility of being a Westerner, an outsider, entering the space respectfully and with an awareness of the history and the repercussions of outside interference.
I often look back 5 years ago at the experiences that I had, about the learnings that I had as part of the course. And it really has shaped me to becoming really the business leader that I am today. Through the course, we learn the importance about really contributing to the communities around you. And in that, the case of the course, we were able to contribute to a group that was really, underserved, really a group that went through a lot. And while you may not have the same opportunity in your life to do so again, there's always the opportunity to make a small difference to those around you, whether it's through volunteering, whether it's through lending a helping hand, whether it's through mentoring. And one of the most important things about the course was being able to understand and really think through our shared humanity as people.
If I had to describe my experience in 2 words, it would probably be rewarding and inspiring. I learned a lot on the trip about Rwanda and about myself as well. And one of the biggest takeaways was the power of forgiveness. We spoke a lot in class about the grassroots approach that Rwanda took in the reconciliation period after the genocide. And having spoken to a lot of the Rwandans who were affected, having lost loved ones in the genocide, they all ended their stories saying that they forgave the perpetrators. And I think that not only spoke to their strength as a people and just their collective resilience, but truly that animosity and lack of forgiveness really does hinder us as a society and any kind of growth that we can hope for, and not only between countries on a global scale, but in our personal relationships and amongst other individuals in society as well.
I describe the course as a fantastic learning experience. Firstly, because you get to interact with the academic discourse on genocide, reconstruction, redevelopment and reconciliation. And secondly, because to just go there and experience it firsthand is second to none. Rwanda is an experience I will never take back. It was so rewarding, eye-opening. It's almost difficult to describe, but I would say that my biggest lesson learned or biggest takeaway is no matter what hand you're dealt, resilience is key. It was amazing to see how Rwanda was dealt a bad hand, and through the resilience and the strength of their people and being unafraid to take non-traditional approaches, how the country was able to succeed beyond any expectation.
And what makes this experience and this course really unique is the fact that, for 8 or 9 years before I went, and even more now, Henri and his students had put in a lot of work already over the years, and our community partners in Rwanda had put in a lot of work to building relationships between Western and these partners. And so when we showed up, we weren't starting from scratch. We were continuing to build these relationships. And so reflecting back now, I think that's what made it really impactful. And it's tough to summarize some of my experiences there. But I just feel lucky that I was able to be part of this, because I think it's really unique what's been built over the years.
While in Rwanda, both years I had the opportunity to work with Centre Murambo and with Nicolette and the amazing team there, and it was such an incredible experience. We both years worked on a sexual health curriculum that we were going around teaching to students, trying to promote safe sexual health practices. And I really think that those two years that I spent volunteering and working as a part of this course helped shape my education and my career to come. So Henri is truly the best leader, educator you could ever ask for, and the organizations that they work for in Rwanda are truly life-changing, not only for the people on the ground there, but for the students as well.
Dr. Boy's course changed my life. It's the best course I've ever taken. This community engaged learning course has had a huge impact in shaping who I am, what I'm doing academically and professionally, and really pushed my social awareness as a student, as a teacher, as a community worker, and just as a person in general. Before, during, and after the course, there was a lot of reflection involved, which has made me a more critical and reflective person. And of course, when we were there, we were working with the same people in Rwanda every day for 5 weeks. And in my experience, that was where the real learning was happening. We stayed there, we developed relationships with people, and we really grew there. It continues to have a really profound impact on me, because it changed me and it influenced my path, my life path, not just professionally, but personally too.
Learning about Rwanda from Professor Boyi provided a completely different perspective from what I was familiar with. I learned a philosophy such as Ubuntu, which means I am because you are. Such aspects of the course helped me view humanity and community
with an understanding contrary to the Western perspective. The opportunity to live and interact with communities in Rwanda allowed us to apply the theories we learned beyond the classroom. I built on the knowledge gained from Professor Boye's course to establish my research interest. All of this to say, participating in Professor Boye's course did not change my life so much as it helped change my perspective on life. That experience helped me understand that as a person who values community and never felt represented by Western curriculums, my purpose is to use the privileges I do have to create space for other people and other ways of knowing that are commonly excluded from narratives of the West. I will be forever grateful for what I learned in Professor Boye's course.
I've never had an experience that was so focused on community and togetherness and teamwork. And this experience gave me a whole new perspective on like the pluses, the benefits of teamwork, how great it is to be part of a community, how much grassroots organizations are so important, why engaging the beneficiary in programs is so important, the key of bottom-up versus top-down approaches. Again, working with Rwandan partners, I got that sense of community and the importance of giving back and mutual understanding and doing what you can to help the collective.
The very name of the organization, Les Enfants de Dieu, promotes this overall ideology of open-mindedness, patience, perspective, and understanding reflected in all of Rwanda. This was an idea that was really emphasized by one of the teachers there, Gracien. When asked about why and how he was so passionate about the center, he explained that there needed to be this reframing of how we view society. Instead of punishing or looking down upon parents who might have abandoned their children or dismissing a street boy for being homeless and stealing, we have to take a step back and reflect and think about what we can do as a society to prevent these behaviors from repeating themselves. This is something that has stayed with me every single day for the past year, and I've been really evaluating myself how effective really is shame and punishment when we should be working together as a community to reach this overall goal of equity and equality.
The course spends a lot of time learning about the concept of Ubuntu, which is a Bantu philosophical term that translates to I am because you are, which is essentially a concept of mutual human kindness. Ubuntu is not something that any of us could have just studied and moved on from. It was something that we really needed to experience to capture its true meaning. Rwanda will always hold a special place in my heart. I was able to join together with colleagues and friends to create our own unique story with our own aspirations and passions, and every time a group goes to Rwanda, they do something completely different. If Ubuntu is about being a better version of yourself, for mutual growth, and for the benefit of the collective, I truly hope to continue to utilize these values in my life, and I can absolutely attribute them all to this fantastic course. It was a really great opportunity, and the best opportunity was being able to gain an exceptional mentor in Professor Henri Boye.
There's only so much you can learn about the world and about how international engagement works on the paper, and being able to actually set foot in a place that you've learned about for a whole semester and start working with inspiring individuals in the community to create change and get a sense of how you can be involved and how really all you need to make a difference, a really big difference in someone's life, is putting in hard work. And that is something that I'm going to be taking with me into my future career.
This class really enhanced my cultural curiosity and gave me a deeper understanding of intercultural engagement and the importance of community. One of my favorite things about this course was the relationships that I built due to it. For example, I became really close with the people that I went on the trip with, but I was also able to build meaningful connections with many of the people that I worked with in Rwanda, who I still keep in touch with to this day. Overall, this really enhanced my university experience and was one of the best parts of it.
Some of my favorite memories from the trip were just like the times that weren't planned, like the times that just we would goof off and just really let go. Like working with my two partners really taught me to not care about what anyone thinks and to just like let go and be myself. There's not enough good things I could say about this course.
Even though we weren't able to travel physically to Rwanda last summer due to the COVID-19 pandemic, I was fortunately able to participate in virtual student exchange sessions with student and faculty of the University of Rwanda. During these sessions, we shared our perspectives about various global issues such as COVID-19, mental health, media misinformation, disinformation, and social injustice, really engaging in meaningful discussions. During the course, there were so many topics that we worked through, such as how to develop our intercultural competency and become global citizens, all of which are key elements of international education. The meaning behind my art is that no matter our past, we're all part of a collective consciousness of our community, and so we must treat each other with respect and empathy in order to exist in harmony.
I believe that the best way to learn isn't in a classroom or online, rather it's through experiential learning opportunities such as this. It provides you with a new perspective on global and local cultures, issues, and relations. My time in Rwanda taught me not only the importance, but the strength of community.
My name is Saimana Nicolette. I'm CEO of Centre Marembo Organization. We started the partnership with the University of Western Ontario from 2011 up to now. Our partnership is based on sharing and exchanging the experiences about Canadian and Rwandan culture, learning Centre Marembo activities, supporting the center in terms of ideas, technical skills, and finance. Let's take the opportunity to thank all students who supported Centre Marembo. I thank Professor Boyi Henry. Special thanks to the all members and communities of UWO for establishing this program. Many thanks and all the best for 2021.
The students provided assistance in the 3 nursery classrooms, baby, middle, and top class, and the children were happy with them. They fit in very well and interacted with the children warmly. It is always good for children to meet people from different cultures at an early age. They helped with teaching pre-math, pre-English, art, music, pre-science, and social studies. The improvement in children was obvious. The teachers received from them the qualities of effective skills of patience, respect, leadership, professional behavior, discipline, authority, and became more active or animated and interactive. Aspire Rwanda staff and children highly appreciated the time spent with the students and their professors, and we look forward to continued partnership.
I'm delighted to participate in this exhibition celebrating its achievements, which now span a full decade. In 2007, along with experiential learning leaders Stephanie Hain-Beatty and Rich Swaminathan, I joined a Western delegation to Kigali and Butare, headed by President Paul Davenport and Vice President Ted Hewitt. Another member of the delegation, David Chiquetto, had already spearheaded successful collaborative initiatives with Rwandan partners to rebuild the country's healthcare system in the wake of the 1994 genocide. During that visit, Stephanie, Rich, and I had conversations with several Rwandan counterparts who shared our interests in setting up a program for Western students. When we returned to campus, we had enthusiastic conversations with Henri Boilly, which led to a successful application to the International Curriculum Fund to support the travel of our first 2 cohorts. In 2009, I joined Henri on the trip with a small group of intrepid pioneers, and also in 2010 with a larger group of students whose stay in Kigali began with a surprise welcome from President Kagame himself. The rest, as they say, is history. As this exhibition documents so well, the course has been a tremendous success from the start. It is wonderful that the School of Advanced Studies in Arts and Humanities has partnered with the Department of French Studies to anchor it firmly in our faculty's offerings. Western's experiential learning course in Rwanda honors our university's deep commitment to innovative learning and academic internationalism. It is my strong hope that we will be able to continue to offer our students this transformative learning experience once this COVID-19 pandemic is over.
There are many aspects of the course that have stayed with me, about a shared humanity, about resilience, and also communication, even when we speak different languages. What has particularly stayed with me is how our learning happened. Our learning happened in the centers where we interacted with children and youth and survivors. It happened in the museums and memorials that have preserved the memories of those who were lost to genocide. It happened in the marketplace where I bought beautiful African fabrics that speak to the everyday life of the communities and the vibrancy of its colors. It happened in my interactions with professors from the University of Rwanda and with different advocacy groups, and also with those who ran the centers, Nicolette, Josiane, Charles, and with Hakim, who toured us around Kigali and beyond. At a time when we talk about decolonization in our education systems, the Rwanda course is an excellent example of the need for global exchange of knowledge so that we can understand the importance of interrelationships between cultures.
I was very privileged to be able to go with the group at the beginning of their trip in 2019. It was an experience of a lifetime, and I'm so grateful to Henri for letting me tag along. I have said to Henri for years and years that I would love to go with the group to Rwanda at some point and see what this magical experience that everybody always talks about is. And the trip did not disappoint. Rwanda is an absolutely captivating, fascinating country, and the organizations that our students get to work with are so incredible in the things that they do in the communities that they serve. I was completely drawn in and would love to go back sometime, and I would very much like to congratulate Henri for keeping this amazing opportunity alive and vibrant and wonderful and available for 10 years. It's a lot of work, and I really felt cared for and a real sense of belonging with the group while I was there. It was a real privilege.
The current exhibition is a gallery of stories about the most important value we all have in common, Ubuntu, our humanity to others. You are all located in different parts of the world, but you have come closer to one another to share your own stories of human interconnectedness and celebrate 10 years of international experiential learning, which many of you have called your best learning opportunity. The course has been transformative for the 100 students who took it and owned it. Needless to say, it has been life-changing for me as well. You have all been leaders in your communities, institutions, and companies. Indeed, you have all become true global citizens. I can't thank you enough for being a wonderful source of pride and inspiration for me. Happy New Year 2021 to all of you and your loved ones. Stay well and safe.